Okay, this video is called What is the Big New Thing in Health? And, if you went back in health, let's say 10 years ago, it was rather quite obvious that the medical doctors, MDs, had really screwed up in terms of they did not know nutrition. And they still don't know nutrition. 99% of them don't know nutrition. And that's pathetic, okay, because most disease is caused by poor nutrition. But there's more to it than poor nutrition. The point of this lecture is that a giant component of poor health is toxins. And what I'm saying is, if you want to know how to optimize health, you have to know diet and toxicology. And I've also said for a long time, I have a big advantage, I believe, over other nutrition doctors and other nutrition experts, health coaches in this area, in that a lot of them are just studying nutrition. And I'm going to say you have to also study toxicology. This is not just one little toxin here or there. There's tons of these toxins. They're actually very easy to learn, but there's a lot of them. There's the estrogenic chemicals. There's the heavy metals. There's the preservatives. There's the excitotoxins, mitochondrial toxins, SERCA inhibitors, okay? And basically, I just added this blue text right here. The old way of looking at it was typical chump eats meat, processed food, oils, ends up on, polypharmacy, drug, gets operated on, chop, 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 bye money, dead early. All right, that's the typical American, cognitively impaired by 60. All right, whereas, the way to escape from all this was to be a vegan, low-fat vegan, low-sodium vegan, then the Johnson keeps on working a long time, no pills, no surgery, die of old age around 90 or something. All right, that was the good old days. But in the brave new world of toxins, you have to know this stuff. And we'll show some examples of how that's relevant here. And because I work as a brain doctor, I've been interested in this stuff for a long time. And, it's not that complicated. Anybody can learn this. Any of the health coaches out there, you can learn this pretty easy. What's the bottom line? You want to live like Adam and Eve, but, keep your indoor heating and plumbing. And what that means is avoid all these extra fancy chemicals. All these fancy things are almost always bad for you. And we talk about Genesis 1:29. We're made to eat a vegan diet, not just from intelligent design, but just from our physiology and looking at it. And I'll just real quick go through some. This is something that we get from Esselstyn and his buddy with the nitric oxide that, you don't want to be using F- toothpaste or mouthwash because you trash the bacteria in the back of the tongue and you can't convert the greens, the nitrate from the greens, into nitric oxide systemic to lower your blood pressure. You got to watch out for these pharmaceuticals. Like, look at all these pharmaceuticals in psychiatry. It's kind of a big joke. They long-term tend to change the synapses in unfavorable ways, and lots of these patients long-term have worse outcomes. In the short term, there might be a benefit in some selected cases, like an acute psychotic episode, for example, or maybe in some of these other patients too, even to temporize them over until they can stabilize and you can get their social support and psychological factors in order. But you keep on these psych drugs long term, there's usually not just one neurotransmitter at a synapse. There's usually multiple neurotransmitters interacting such that if you change one with a pill, you're going to get compensatory effects on the other ones that in the long term will be quite often detrimental. Okay, we talked about this new coating being put onto a lot of fruits and vegetables and how confusing it is and how secretive has been its application and learning how to avoid that. And I'm just doing a real quick survey on toxicology. High fructose corn syrup in bolused large amounts with industrial fructose can be thought of as a toxin, and the whole fatty liver spectrum of diseases, and glyphosate also causes fatty liver. All these mitochondrial inhibitors, including GP, F-, atrazine, HNE from the omega-6 fats, HG in the high fructose corn syrup, TCE in the dry cleaning, and a lot of adhesive chemicals, solvents, liquid paper, and all that. Sodium chloride in excess amounts has a toxic effects on the human body, as we've talked about. I just gave a lecture on, buying clothes. You don't want wrinkle-free, no iron clothes, man. They're got Teflon in them, formaldehyde, polyester. It's all bad. All right, so I've given multiple lectures previously on all these estrogenic chemicals, and they're ubiquitous. You gotta just learn how to avoid them. The BPA from the BPS, the parabenzoic acids, the fact that if you don't get dietary fiber, you reabsorb your previously liver excreted conjugated estrogen and you end up estrogen overloaded, predisposed to breast cancer, prostate cancer, prostate hypertrophy, and other problems. Marijuana is estrogenic. They're trying to pretend nowadays that it's good for you. No, it's another thing for chumps. Okay, the whole MSG, aspartate, excitotoxins, aspartame, and GP goes with that, and several other things too. The circa inhibitors. So, anyways, I just show you that. There's a quick survey that toxicology is not going away. It's a major issue. It's easy to learn, and if you really want to be a top-notch health coach advisor, you got to know this stuff. So it's nutrition and toxicology, not nutrition alone.